before I finally send you off, I just wanted to go over a couple more odds and ends, just talking about some ways that you can continue on your Houdini journey after this course. So I just wanted to kind of point you in the direction of a couple of resources that I find to be super helpful and super awesome. So the first resource is this. MOPs, or motion operators. This is developed by one of the guys from Intagma, Moritz, and another guy, I think that he's based out of California somewhere, but his name is Henry, or Toadstorm. And they together have teamed up and created a special tool set of nodes for Houdini that allow you to do a lot of really cool MoGraphy stuff and things that would kind of remind you of similar workflows to how the cloner is set up in Cinema 4D and all sorts of other stuff working with instances and packed geometry. All really cool stuff. Now, the reason why we didn't really go into it in this course is because my personal take is that it's helpful to kind of know what's going on behind the scenes with Houdini before diving into a higher level tool set like these motion operators. However, for some of you, it's going to actually be really helpful to know how this stuff works as well so that you can add it to your workflow. Now, I'm just not super familiar with motion operators myself. I have them installed on my computer for sure, and I've used them a couple times, but I'm just not that well versed in them yet. But so me teaching that content wouldn't necessarily be worthwhile, I don't think, especially given that if you go to the MOPS site, there is a video tutorials section that is pretty robust and gives you all sorts of info about how you can start working with generators and fall-offs and modifiers and all that stuff using MOPS and also getting it installed. As simple as that. So I'd strongly encourage you to check out these tutorials, get MOPS installed on your computer, experiment with them, work it into your workflow, see what you can do with it. I think it's super powerful, and it's really unlocked a lot of people's potential in terms of working with Houdini as a motion graphics tool. So I would definitely check that out. The next thing that I wanted to do is just talk to you about a couple of my favorite resources for additional learning materials as you continue your journey. So, one of the greatest resources is the actual SideFX website. If we're on sidefx.com like this, you can just go up to the Learn section, and under the Tutorials section, there's actually a aggregator that pulls together many of the most recent tutorials from all across the internet that users and SideFX themselves have created to help you learn how to do various techniques in Houdini. I think that it's updated quite regularly, and you can find usually the latest and greatest tutorials right here in this tutorials section of the SideFX website. So definitely check that out. Another one that I find to be super great is the is Intagma, and I briefly touched on Intagma in the last tutorial when we were talking about Vex. A lot of these courses or a lot of these tutorials are a little bit more advanced, and they do rely a little bit heavier on the Vex stuff. So definitely a good resource if you're looking to get into that. And also, I think that they're just great exercises. They're very they are tutorials that generate very cool and fun results. So I definitely would check those out. And also, they have a Patreon as well if you're interested in getting into some even more in-depth tutorials from them. Additionally, I mentioned this as well in the last one, but CG Wiki has a site here that has a ton of GIFs and a ton of setups for Houdini. You can download HIP files and learn all sorts of cool techniques for working not only in Vex, but also in just about every other area of Houdini that you might want to touch. Additionally, there is a Patreon for CG Wiki. I would definitely go and check that out if you are interested in really getting involved with trying to support this person, Matt Estella, who maintains this website. Super smart guy, really just likes to help out the community and is always updating this and really coming up with just cool and helpful setups all the time. One of my other favorites is Stephen Nipping who runs Applied Houdini, and these tutorials can be found on CG Circuit. But basically, you just search for Applied Houdini, and you'll find some really advanced and in-depth tutorials about how to do things like rigid body destruction and pyro, and there's even some particles and liquids and stuff like that. These are super advanced courses. I mean, in terms of the level of quality that you get after you go through these courses, I mean, they are paid, but I found that taking Stephen Nipping's courses really helped me get a very strong grasp on what like real production techniques are in Houdini. This is a person who works at ILM and has worked on Star Wars and all sorts of amazing movies and done a bunch of really cool shots. And he's out here to just share his knowledge about how to do that stuff. And it's really, the best of the best, in my opinion, of Houdini training that's out there. Additionally, my other favorite is Rohan Dalvi. And Rohan Dalvi is person who's been creating Houdini tutorials for as long as I can remember. I mean, I think that some of the first tutorials I did when I was first starting to learn Houdini were Rohan Dalvi tutorials. I'm not sure if he has a Patreon or not, but he definitely has some premium tutorials on various websites across the internet, tutorial sites, but you can basically find them all here on his website. Really good teacher, explains things very nicely. I would definitely check out his Vimeo or search for his tutorials on YouTube or what have you. So I hope that, you feel pretty armed now to take on just about anything in Houdini in terms of continuing your learning experience and continuing to make your own projects and all that stuff. I had a complete blast teaching you how to do some of this stuff. I really tried to just lay it all down here for you and give you basically the meat and potatoes of what I feel is necessary to understand if you want to get into Houdini. So I had a total blast. It was an honor to teach you, and I am so glad to have had you. I hope that you learned something out of this tutorial series, and maybe, just maybe, I'll be back to do a little bit more advanced Houdini training in the future. So thank you very much again, and this is me signing off. Peace out.